In a community plagued by fear and violence, Snoop, a seasoned leader, faces off against Hawk, a ruthless gang leader who rules through intimidation. As tensions rise, Snoop's unwavering commitment to justice and unity sparks a fight for control of the streets. With the support of the community and the intervention of law enforcement, Snoop proves that true strength lies not in power, but in integrity and the will to do what is right. In the end, justice prevails as Hawk's reign of terror is dismantled, and Snoop's leadership ushers in an era of peace and unity. Snoop stands at the threshold of a significant challenge, one that tests not only his physical strength but also his mental and emotional fortitude. As the leader of his community, he has learned through years of experience that preparation is the key to success, not just brute force or muscle. Reflecting on past encounters and lessons learned, Snoop has come to realize that true strength doesn't come from being the biggest or the most intimidating figure in the room. It comes from having the right people around you, the tools at your disposal, and most importantly, the mindset to face challenges head-on. This realization marks a pivotal moment in Snoop's journey. He takes a moment to look back at his career, how he has overcome adversities and how each battle has shaped his character. Through it all, he has come to understand that no amount of physical strength can truly prepare a person for the complexities of leadership and survival in a world that is full of danger and unpredictability. In fact, it is not the size of the enemy that should matter, but the strategic advantage one can hold in the face of that enemy. As he prepares for the confrontation with Hawk, Snoop makes the conscious decision to approach the situation not just as a battle, but as a chess match. It is about foresight, calculation, and knowing that the stakes are higher than mere physical dominance. He understands that every move has consequences, and every decision must be thought through carefully. In this moment, Snoop's preparation is not just about gathering weapons or allies, though both are important, but it is about ensuring that he is mentally sharp and ready to think on his feet. One of the most crucial elements in Snoop's preparation is the recognition of his need for a solid support system. Over the years, he has built relationships within his community, connections with people who respect him, who have been by his side in times of trouble, and who trust his leadership. Snoop knows that these relationships are his true strength. It is not just the backing of a few strong individuals that will help him prevail. It is the collective strength of an entire community that he has fostered with respect, trust, and care. The people who are willing to stand by him in this time of need are a testament to his leadership and the bonds he has forged with them. On a more tactical level, Snoop ensures that his preparation extends to the necessary tools and resources. This includes securing his security gear. While he may not rely on weapons as much as others, Snoop is practical. He knows that the situation he is about to face is dangerous, and he has to be ready for anything. His gear is more than just a symbol of protection. It is a necessary part of the strategy. He has outfitted himself with the best available equipment, knowing that it will give him an advantage when things inevitably escalate. But Snoop's preparation doesn't end there. He takes the time to study his adversary, Hawk, and his gang of bikers. This isn't just about knowing their numbers. It's about understanding their motivations, weaknesses, and patterns of behavior. Snoop knows that in order to defeat Hawk, he needs to get into the mind of his opponent. He does not see Hawk as a simple adversary to be defeated through brute strength. Instead, Snoop understands that Hawk's power lies in fear that he instills in his gang and the people around him. But Snoop has spent years earning the trust and loyalty of his community, and that is the key difference. Hawk may have numbers, but Snoop has something far more valuable: unity and trust. In preparation for the upcoming confrontation, Snoop also takes time to meditate and center himself. This is perhaps one of the most important parts of his preparation: his ability to maintain control over his emotions. Snoop knows that panic and fear can cloud judgment, and in this line of work, clear thinking is paramount. He focuses on his breathing, grounds himself in the present moment, and mentally prepares for whatever may come. It is this mental discipline that has been a key factor in his ability to navigate the challenges he has faced so far. As he gathers his tools, secures his gear, and mentally prepares himself, Snoop is keenly aware that victory in this conflict will not come through sheer aggression alone. It will come through strategy, preparation, and the unwavering support of those who believe in him. His strength, as he has learned, comes from the relationships he has built, the knowledge he has accumulated, and the calm resolve with which he faces adversity. This is Snoop's preparation, a comprehensive approach to the battle ahead. It is not just about the physical confrontation but about ensuring that every aspect of his being, his body, his mind, and his spirit, is ready for whatever lies ahead. Snoop is ready for Hawk and his gang, not because he is the strongest man in the room, but because he has prepared himself in every way possible. His confidence is not based on arrogance or overestimation of his abilities, but on the solid foundation of his preparation, experience, and understanding of the situation. In the end, Snoop's preparation represents the essence of his leadership philosophy. It is a reminder that true strength is not about being the biggest or the loudest. It is about being the most prepared, the most resilient, and the most committed to what truly matters, the people and the community he fights for. As Snoop prepares for the looming confrontation, it is clear that he is not alone in this fight. The strength of a leader is often measured by the loyalty and support of those who stand beside him. In Snoop's case, two of the most steadfast individuals who have always had his back are Joe and Jenna. Their unwavering support is not just a matter of loyalty, it is a testament to the deep bonds they share with Snoop and the shared values that have guided. Uncertainty gripped the community around them. Joe and Jenna remain firm in their commitment to stand by Snoop, no matter the cost. Joe, a seasoned and reliable ally, has known Snoop for many years. Their friendship was built on mutual respect and trust, and Joe has witnessed firsthand Snoop's growth as a leader. He understands the kind of person Snoop is: determined, resourceful, and capable of inspiring those around him. When the news of Hawk's impending threat spreads, Joe could easily have turned away, taking the safer route by distancing himself from the danger that looms. However, Joe's decision is not driven by fear or self-preservation. Instead, it is rooted in a deep sense of loyalty and the unshakable belief that Snoop is not only capable of handling the situation but that standing with him is the right thing to do. Joe's presence offers Snoop both practical support and emotional reassurance. In the past, Joe has served as a sounding board for Snoop, offering valuable advice and guidance when tough decisions had to be made. He is not one to be easily swayed by external pressures or intimidation, which makes him an invaluable ally in times like these. Joe recognizes the severity of the situation, but rather than allowing fear to take control, he channels his energy into preparing for the confrontation. He is focused on being a pillar of support, knowing that his role is critical in helping Snoop navigate the challenges ahead. Joe's confidence in Snoop's abilities allows him to remain calm and composed in the face of uncertainty, offering a steady presence when others may falter. Jenna, on the other hand, brings a unique perspective to the table. While Joe's loyalty is rooted in a long history with Snoop, Jenna's support is shaped by a more recent but equally strong bond. Having worked closely with Snoop in the past, Jenna admires his leadership style and his commitment to the community. She has seen how Snoop's actions speak louder than words, how he has always been there for those in need, even at personal risk. Jenna's connection to Snoop runs deep, and her support is more than just a matter of standing by his side out of loyalty. It is about believing in the values Snoop upholds, values of fairness, respect, and a commitment to justice. Jenna's contribution is not limited to just moral support. She is resourceful and has a knack for thinking strategically in high-pressure situations. As the community braces for the possibility of conflict, Jenna uses her skills to assist in organizing efforts to safeguard the area and prepare for the worst. Whether it's coordinating with local businesses to ensure safety measures are in place or providing insight into Hawk's potential movements, Jenna's proactive approach proves invaluable. Her intellect and quick thinking make her an indispensable part of Snoop's support network. She refuses to be intimidated by Hawk's gang and instead channels her energy into ensuring that Snoop's leadership is complemented by strong, organized support from the community. Together, Joe and Jenna provide the foundation that Snoop needs to maintain focus and clarity. While many are consumed by fear of what Hawk's gang might do, they remain resolute, helping to ground Snoop in his purpose and his ultimate goal, protecting the community he has built and the people who trust him. In moments of doubt, it is Joe's calm demeanor and Jenna's practical insights that offer Snoop the reassurance he needs to stay on course. Their loyalty is not blind, nor is it based on a mere sense of obligation. Instead, their support is a reflection of the deep, mutual respect they share with Snoop and the trust they have in his ability to lead. In the face of adversity, their support becomes more than just a lifeline for Snoop. It becomes a symbol of the strength that arises when people come together for a common cause. Despite the threats that hang in the air and the fear that grips the community, Joe and Jenna's decision to stand by Snoop highlights the power of friendship and solidarity. It is a reminder that no one achieves greatness in isolation. Snoop's leadership is bolstered by the collective efforts of those who believe in him, and Joe and Jenna are a living testament to that reality. As the situation intensifies and the threat of Hawk's gang looms larger, Snoop's connection with Joe and Jenna proves to be an anchor, keeping him grounded and focused on the task at hand. Their support is not just about being present in the moment of conflict. It is about the unwavering belief in Snoop's ability to overcome adversity, no matter how formidable the challenge may seem. Through their actions and their words, Joe and Jenna show Snoop that he is not alone in this fight. They are not just bystanders. They are active participants in the struggle, ready to fight alongside him and ensure that their community remains protected. This bond between Snoop, Joe, and Jenna is the epitome of loyalty, trust, and mutual respect. It transcends fear and danger, offering a powerful example of how true strength lies not in individual power but in the collective will to stand together against adversity. As Snoop steps forward into the unknown, he does so with the unwavering support of Joe and Jenna, knowing that whatever challenges lie ahead, he will face them with trusted allies by his side. When Hawk sets his sights on Snoop, he doesn't approach the situation with the same level of thoughtfulness or preparation that Snoop does. For Hawk, power is a matter of dominance, and his strategy is rooted in the belief that the sheer force of numbers can secure his position. Unlike Snoop, who understands the deeper complexities of leadership and the importance of mental and emotional fortitude, Hawk operates from a position of aggression and intimidation. His approach is simple: outnumber and overwhelm. It's a strategy born from a mindset that believes in physical strength over intellect, fear over respect, and control over cooperation. Hawk, the leader of a gang of bikers, sees the world in binary terms: either you're with him or you're against him. For him, people are tools to be used, not allies to be respected. His gang of bikers, known as the Steel Wolves, are his muscle, and he relies on their sheer numbers and their willingness to use violence to achieve his goals. Hawk's approach to this conflict is no different. He believes that by gathering a large group of bikers and confronting Snoop with overwhelming force, he can break Snoop's resolve and take control of the community. This, he thinks, will send a clear message to anyone who dares oppose him. From the outset, Hawk assumes that strength is defined by the number of people at his disposal. He underestimates the power of loyalty, unity, and the emotional bonds that Snoop has cultivated over the years. Hawk's belief in physical intimidation blinds him to the fact that Snoop is not just a man with a reputation. He is a leader who commands respect and loyalty, qualities that cannot be bought or coerced. Hawk fails to understand that power doesn't come solely from brute force. It comes from the hearts and minds of those who follow you, from the trust and loyalty you have earned, not from the fear you can instill. Hawk's strategy is rooted in the idea that fear is the greatest weapon. He knows that Snoop has a reputation for being strong, and he assumes that this will be enough to make Snoop fearful of him and his gang. In Hawk's mind, the mere sight of his large crew of bikers will send a message, one that says Snoop doesn't stand a chance against such overwhelming force. He wants to strike fear into Snoop and his community, believing that terror will make them submit. Hawk thinks that if he can break Snoop's will, the community will be his for the taking, and any remaining resistance will crumble beneath the weight of his gang's sheer presence. Hawk's plan is straightforward: to surround Snoop with a large, intimidating group of bikers. His strategy hinges on the idea that Snoop's reputation will be no match for the power of the Steel Wolves. Hawk has always used fear as his primary tool for control, and this time, he believes it will work again. He feels confident that the mere sight of his gang will cause Snoop to back down, ensuring that Hawk's dominance is unchallenged. As Hawk gathers his bikers and prepares for the confrontation, he fails to consider one crucial aspect of the situation: the community. While Hawk may have the physical numbers, Snoop has something far more powerful. He has the support of the people he has worked tirelessly to protect and serve. Hawk's failure to recognize the significance of community ties will ultimately be his downfall. He assumes that power can be seized with force, but he doesn't understand that true power is not something that can be stolen or coerced. It must be earned, and it is not measured in the number of people you can intimidate, but in the respect and trust you have cultivated. In his arrogance, Hawk underestimates Snoop's resolve and the bonds that have been built over years of leadership. While Hawk's strategy is to rely solely on the physical dominance of his gang, Snoop's strength lies in the emotional and mental fortitude of those who stand with him. Snoop has earned the trust of his community, and while Hawk may have a large group of bikers, he does not have the loyalty and respect that Snoop commands. Hawk's reliance on sheer numbers also leads him to underestimate the power of strategy and preparation. While Hawk may have the upper hand in terms of numbers, Snoop has the advantage of experience, intelligence, and emotional resilience. Snoop is not someone who is easily swayed by intimidation tactics, and he knows how to handle himself in high-pressure situations. Hawk's strategy, though it may seem formidable on the surface, is fundamentally flawed because it fails to account for the intangible qualities that make Snoop a powerful leader. As Hawk assembles his gang and prepares for the confrontation, he is consumed by a sense of overconfidence. His plan, based on brute force and fear, blinds him to the possibility that Snoop's preparation, calm demeanor, and the support of his community could turn the tables in an instant. Hawk is so certain that he will succeed through the strength of his gang that he neglects to consider the deeper dynamics at play. This overconfidence is his greatest weakness, and it will ultimately lead to his downfall. In the end, Hawk's strategy proves to be his undoing. His belief that numbers and fear will secure his victory is shattered when he realizes that Snoop's true strength lies in his ability to inspire loyalty and unity. Hawk's strategy of overwhelming force and intimidation may have worked in the past, but it is no match for the strength that comes from the emotional connection Snoop has forged with his community. When Hawk's gang begins to falter, and the support that once seemed unshakable starts to crumble, Hawk is forced to confront the reality that true power cannot be seized through fear, it must be earned through respect and trust. Ultimately, Hawk's strategy highlights the danger of underestimating your opponent and failing to account for the intangible elements that shape the course of a conflict. While Hawk may have the physical advantage, he lacks the deeper understanding of what truly makes someone strong. Snoop's experience, preparation, and community support will prove to be the decisive factors in this confrontation, elements that Hawk's simplistic, fear-based strategy can never match. As Hawk rallies his gang of bikers, preparing to face Snoop, it becomes evident that Snoop's greatest strength lies not in his size, weapons, or physical force but in his unwavering confidence. Confidence, in Snoop's case, is not the brash arrogance or overconfidence often seen in those who underestimate their adversaries. It is a quiet, composed, and grounded certainty that comes from years of experience, strategic thinking, and, above all, trust in himself and his leadership. This confidence is the bedrock on which Snoop's leadership is built, and it becomes a crucial element as he faces the looming threat of Hawk and his gang. From the very beginning of the conflict, Snoop remains calm, never giving in to the anxiety or fear that grips the hearts of others. While many would be rattled by the overwhelming numbers of Hawk's gang, Snoop stands tall, undeterred by the situation's dangers. His confidence is rooted in the knowledge that he has prepared for moments like this, that he has the experience and resources to navigate through tough situations. It is this calm demeanor, this steady presence, that gives those around him a sense of security and assurance, even as the tension rises. The people who stand with him see his composure and are reminded of the strength that lies in his leadership. Snoop's confidence is not blind, it is informed by years of experience and the hard lessons he has learned along the way. He knows how to read people, how to understand the dynamics of power and control, and how to navigate high-stakes situations with clear-headedness. It is this experience that allows him to see the bigger picture when others might be consumed by the immediacy of the threat. Snoop does not react impulsively to Hawk's tactics or aggression. Instead, he takes a moment to assess the situation, calculating his next move with precision and clarity. This measured approach is a testament to his confidence in his own abilities and the trust he has in the preparation he has put in place. What sets Snoop apart from Hawk is that his confidence does not rely on the physical size of his opposition or the number of people backing him up. Unlike Hawk, who relies on overwhelming numbers to impose his will, Snoop understands that true power is not about intimidating others or instilling fear, it is about staying calm under pressure and being able to think critically in the face of adversity. Snoop's confidence comes from his inner resolve and his deep understanding of his own strengths, as well as the knowledge that he is not alone in this fight. He is not just fighting for himself. He is fighting for the community that stands behind him, for the people who believe in his leadership and the principles he upholds. Throughout the build-up to the confrontation, Snoop's confidence becomes increasingly evident to those around him. He is unshaken by Hawk's attempts to intimidate him or his gang's threats of violence. Where others might buckle under the pressure, Snoop remains steadfast. He knows that fear is a tool that can cloud judgment and impair decision-making. By staying calm, he is able to maintain clear thinking, making strategic decisions that put him in the best position to succeed. He does not allow Hawk's aggression to dictate his actions. Instead, he remains focused on the larger goal of protecting the community and standing firm in the face of adversity. Snoop's confidence is also demonstrated in his approach to conflict resolution. While Hawk is driven by anger, fear, and a desire for control, Snoop operates with a sense of purpose that goes beyond simply defeating his enemy. He does not see this as a personal battle, it is a matter of principle. Snoop knows that the strength he has cultivated in the community cannot be shattered by brute force or intimidation alone. His confidence is rooted in his ability to inspire loyalty and respect, not just through words, but through consistent action. It is this quality that gives him the upper hand in the confrontation with Hawk. In addition to his emotional and mental strength, Snoop's confidence is also supported by the tangible preparations he has made. His experience has taught him that while one can never fully predict the outcome of a conflict, preparation is the key to ensuring that one is ready for anything. From securing his gear to assembling a network of allies, Snoop has covered every angle, leaving nothing to chance. His preparedness only serves to bolster his confidence further. When Snoop steps into the arena, he does so knowing that he has done everything in his power to ensure that he is ready for whatever may come. This preparation is not just physical, it is mental and emotional. Snoop's readiness is a product of his unshakable belief that he can rise to the challenge, no matter how difficult it may seem. What truly sets Snoop apart is the way his confidence influences those around him. The people who stand by him, Joe, Jenna, and the community at large, draw strength from his demeanor and his unwavering belief in his ability to lead. They see his calmness and resolve and are inspired to follow suit. Snoop's confidence becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. As he stands firm, so too do those who believe in him. This unity becomes a powerful force in the face of Hawk's aggression. It is not just Snoop who is confident, it is the entire community that is emboldened by his example. As the situation escalates and the confrontation with Hawk's gang becomes imminent, Snoop's confidence continues to shine through. He does not waver when faced with the magnitude of the threat, and he does not allow the fear of his adversaries to dictate his actions. Instead, he remains true to his values, his leadership, and the people who have put their trust in him. His confidence is not a superficial trait, it is the foundation of his strength and his ability to lead others through difficult times. One of the key factors that distinguish Snoop from his adversary Hawk is the unwavering support he receives from the community he has spent years building and nurturing. While Hawk relies on the brute force of his gang, Snoop's greatest strength lies in the people who stand by his side, not because they are coerced or intimidated, but because they genuinely believe in him and the positive changes he has brought to their lives. The support of the community is not just a luxury for Snoop, it is the lifeblood of his leadership, the very foundation on which his success is built. As the threat of Hawk's gang grows, it becomes clear that the community's support will be a crucial element in the coming confrontation, tipping the scales in Snoop's favor. Snoop's relationship with the community is not one of transactional exchange, but one of mutual respect and shared values. Over the years, Snoop has invested time, energy, and resources into improving the lives of those around him. He has offered assistance to local businesses, helped people in times of crisis, and stood as a protector of the vulnerable. His leadership is rooted in a deep sense of responsibility toward the community. He does not simply see himself as a leader, but as someone whose duty it is to ensure that everyone in his community can thrive and feel safe. This selfless dedication to the well-being of others has earned Snoop the trust and admiration of the people he serves. When Hawk's gang begins to make their move, intending to intimidate and break Snoop's resolve, they are met with something they did not expect: the unity and resilience of the community that Snoop has helped to build. The community's support for Snoop goes beyond mere loyalty. It is a reflection of the deep bonds that have been forged through years of trust, understanding, and shared struggles. These bonds have created a network of individuals who are not just willing to stand by Snoop in times of trouble, they are determined to protect him and his leadership at all costs. The people who have benefited from Snoop's protection, guidance, and friendship now see it as their turn to return the favor. As word spreads that Hawk and his gang are planning to confront Snoop, the community rallies together. Local business owners, employees, and regular patrons alike come together to show their support for Snoop. They are not afraid to stand in the face of danger because they know that Snoop has always had their backs. The small acts of kindness and protection that Snoop has extended to each of them over the years have created a deep sense of loyalty that cannot be easily broken. This solidarity is something Hawk's gang cannot replicate. Hawk may have the muscle, but Snoop has the collective power of an entire community standing behind him. This outpouring of support is a powerful testament to the kind of leader Snoop has become. It is a reflection of the way his actions have inspired others to take ownership of their own safety and well-being. When the moment of crisis arrives, it is not just Snoop who steps up, it is the entire community that rises to the challenge. This unified front makes it clear to Hawk that he is up against something far more powerful than he originally anticipated. While Hawk's gang may appear intimidating, They lack the cohesion and unity that defines Snoop's community. The people who support Snoop are not acting out of fear. They are acting out of a shared belief in his leadership and the sense of justice he has fostered. As Snoop faces off against Hawk's gang, the community's support becomes evident in tangible ways. Local businesses provide shelter, safe havens, and logistical support to ensure that everyone remains safe. People work together to create barriers, organize defensive strategies, and ensure that Snoop has everything he needs to confront the gang. It is a demonstration of the power of collective action. People who might otherwise have been strangers or mere acquaintances are now working together for a common purpose. The sense of solidarity is palpable as neighbors look out for each other, united by a shared sense of responsibility and the knowledge that they are stronger together. The community's support is not limited to just physical protection. It is also emotional and psychological. As the tension builds and the threat of violence looms, the people who stand by Snoop offer him the strength to endure. They provide him with reassurance, encouragement, and a sense of belonging that bolsters his confidence. The unwavering belief that they are fighting for something greater than themselves, the protection of their home, their families, and their values, gives them the courage to face down Hawk's gang. The emotional bond between Snoop and his community allows them to act not out of fear, but out of a deep sense of loyalty and respect. At the same time, this support sends a clear message to Hawk. He may have the physical numbers, but he does not have the trust and respect that Snoop has earned from his community. As Hawk attempts to use violence and intimidation to control the situation, he quickly realizes that the community is not afraid to stand up for what they believe in. The people who are backing Snoop are not motivated by fear. They are motivated by a shared sense of purpose, something Hawk cannot intimidate or overpower. In this way, the community's support becomes a powerful counterforce to the threats Hawk has been using to try and dominate. What Hawk fails to recognize is that the strength of a leader is not just in the ability to command, but in the ability to inspire and unite others. Snoop's influence goes beyond mere dominance. It is built on the trust and respect he has cultivated over time. As Hawk's gang falters and begins to lose its grip, it is the community's steadfast commitment to Snoop that ultimately tips the scales in his favor. The collective strength of a united community is something that cannot be broken by threats, intimidation, or sheer numbers. Hawk's plan to overpower Snoop through fear and force crumbles in the face of the love, loyalty, and unity that Snoop has fostered within his community. In the end, the support of the community is the key factor that ensures Snoop's victory. While Hawk may have the muscle, Snoop has something far more powerful: the collective strength of the people who believe in him, trust him, and stand beside him in times of crisis. The community's loyalty and unity become the defining elements of this battle, proving that the true power of a leader is not in how many people follow them, but in how deeply they are willing to stand by them when it matters most. The community's support for Snoop is not just a one-time occurrence. It is a reflection of the deep, lasting impact Snoop has had on their lives. It is a testament to the kind of leader he has become and the enduring bonds of trust and respect that have been forged over time. In a world where fear often dictates people's actions, Snoop's community shows that true strength comes from standing together, from believing in each other, and from supporting one another when the stakes are at their highest. As the tension between Snoop and Hawk builds, Hawk seeks to impose his will on Snoop not through reason or negotiation, but through sheer brutality and violence. Hawk is a man who believes that power comes from fear, and he is willing to use any means necessary to break Snoop's resolve. This makes Hawk a dangerous opponent, but it also reveals the flaws in his approach. While Snoop relies on intelligence, preparation, and the support of his community, Hawk resorts to threats, intimidation, and the use of violence as tools to achieve his goals. In this critical moment, Hawk's threats become central to his strategy, and they offer a glimpse into his desperate need for control and dominance. Hawk's first line of attack is psychological. He believes that by creating fear in Snoop and the community, he will weaken their resolve and force them into submission. To do this, he uses intimidation tactics, making it clear that he is willing to escalate the violence if Snoop does not comply with his demands. Hawk's threats are not just directed at Snoop, but at the entire community, sending a message that anyone who stands in his way will be dealt with harshly. It is a tactic designed to create fear and uncertainty, to break the spirit of resistance before it can even begin to form. At first, Hawk's threats seem to work. The community is rattled by his violent reputation and the aggressive manner in which he presents himself. Hawk's gang is known for causing chaos and spreading fear wherever they go, and their presence alone is enough to send a chill through the streets. But Hawk underestimates something crucial: the strength that comes from unity and trust. Snoop, as a leader, knows how to read the situation, and he understands that Hawk's threats are nothing more than an attempt to manipulate the fear of the community and its people. Snoop's response to Hawk's threats is one of calm defiance. Instead of panicking or bowing to the pressure, Snoop remains composed, refusing to allow Hawk to control the narrative. This is where Hawk's first misstep occurs. Hawk expects fear to break Snoop's spirit, but instead, it has the opposite effect. Snoop's calmness in the face of such aggression shows that he is not easily swayed by intimidation, and this only frustrates Hawk. His threats, designed to instill fear, fall flat because Snoop's response is not one of submission but of quiet resistance. The more Hawk escalates his threats, the more Snoop demonstrates his resolve to stand firm. To Hawk, the violence he threatens is not just a means to an end, it is also a way of asserting his power and control. He believes that those who fear him will ultimately bend to his will, and that by hurting others, he can prove his dominance over them. Hawk does not understand that power gained through fear is fleeting and fragile. It is based on the principle of control, not trust or mutual respect. This is where his approach begins to show its flaws. While Snoop may not have the physical strength to take on Hawk's gang directly, he has something far more powerful, the moral high ground. Snoop does not rely on fear. He relies on the loyalty and support of those around him, and this is something that cannot be easily threatened or undermined by brute force. Hawk's threats become increasingly violent as the situation intensifies. He begins to use more aggressive tactics, sending his gang to destroy property, harm innocent people, and make it clear that he is willing to escalate the conflict to dangerous levels. The community is horrified by the violence, but instead of cowering in fear, they rally behind Snoop even more strongly. It becomes clear that Hawk's actions, rather than breaking the community's spirit, are only strengthening their resolve. They will not allow someone like Hawk to tear apart what they have built. This unity and solidarity are the very qualities that Hawk cannot understand, and they prove to be the key to his failure. Hawk's inability to recognize the deeper power of unity and loyalty leads him to make one final mistake. He assumes that he can intimidate Snoop by threatening violence, but in reality, these threats only serve to galvanize the community. As the violence increases, Snoop's calmness becomes a beacon of hope and strength for those around him. His response to Hawk's threats is not one of fear or desperation. Instead, he calmly counters them, relying on his combat skills and understanding of human anatomy to ensure that any direct confrontations end in his favor. Where Hawk sees strength in violence, Snoop sees strength in restraint. He is fully capable of defending himself and his community, but he does so with a clear understanding of the consequences of each action. Snoop does not need to make threats because his reputation, his integrity, and his actions speak for themselves. The difference between the two men becomes stark. Hawk threatens and uses fear to control, while Snoop leads through strength, calmness, and moral conviction. This contrast in their approaches is what makes Snoop such a compelling and effective leader, and it is what ultimately leads to his victory. As the confrontation escalates and Hawk realizes that his threats have not broken Snoop's resolve, he begins to lose control. His gang, once loyal to him through fear, begins to waver as they witness the strength of the community and the unwavering resolve of Snoop. Hawk's reliance on violence to maintain control is shown to be ineffective when faced with a leader who inspires respect, not through fear, but through understanding and strength of character. Hawk's threats may have initially seemed powerful, but they ultimately reveal his weakness: the inability to inspire true loyalty and the inability to see past his own need for domination. In the end, it is Hawk's over-reliance on violence and threats that leads to his downfall. He cannot comprehend that true strength comes not from the ability to intimidate others, but from the ability to inspire, lead with integrity, and remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Snoop's quiet confidence, his deep bond with the community, and his commitment to the greater good all serve as a direct counter to Hawk's threats. While Hawk tries to dominate through fear, Snoop wins by standing firm in his principles, showing that the real power lies not in violence, but in the strength of character and the bonds of loyalty that bind people together. Ultimately, Hawk's threats reveal the emptiness of his power. While he may be able to cause temporary fear, he cannot sustain control without the true support of those around him. In contrast, Snoop's leadership, grounded in respect and community, stands unshaken by the threats and intimidation tactics that Hawk employs. It is this difference that defines the battle between the two and ultimately leads to Snoop's triumph. At the heart of the conflict between Snoop and Hawk lies not just a battle for territory or dominance, but a stark contrast in leadership styles. While Hawk relies on fear, manipulation, and brute force to assert his control over his gang and the community, Snoop embodies a different kind of leadership, one based on mutual respect, trust, and the power of choice. As the confrontation escalates, it becomes clear that the key to Snoop's success is his ability to inspire loyalty and admiration through the example he sets, rather than by commanding through intimidation and violence. This contrast between Snoop's leadership and Hawk's makes all the difference, as it reveals the deeper, more sustainable form of influence that Snoop wields. From the outset, Snoop's leadership is defined by his calmness and composure. He does not see his role as one of dominance or control, but rather as one of guidance and protection. He understands that true leadership is not about bending others to your will, but about empowering them to make their own choices in the face of adversity. This principle is something that Hawk fundamentally fails to grasp. While Hawk uses threats to enforce compliance, Snoop uses the power of choice to build trust and cooperation. It is not fear that keeps Snoop's followers by his side, but a genuine belief in the fairness and integrity of his leadership. Snoop's leadership is also marked by his unwavering commitment to the well-being of his community. Where Hawk seeks to use violence to achieve his goals, Snoop places the needs and safety of the people he leads at the forefront of his actions. He is not a leader who expects loyalty for the sake of personal gain or control, but one who earns it through selflessness, compassion, and consistency. Over the years, Snoop has shown time and time again that he values the welfare of others, and this dedication has fostered a deep sense of loyalty within his community. When the moment of crisis arrives, it is this loyalty that proves to be one of Snoop's greatest strengths. Unlike Hawk, who leads through fear, Snoop leads by example. He is someone who is not afraid to get his hands dirty when necessary, and he is always the first to step up when the community needs him. Whether it's providing assistance to local businesses, protecting those in need, or standing up for what is right, Snoop's actions speak louder than his words. This hands-on approach to leadership fosters a deep sense of trust and admiration from those around him. His followers know that Snoop will never ask them to do anything he wouldn't be willing to do himself. This creates a strong bond between Snoop and his community, one built on respect and shared experiences rather than fear or coercion. One of the most important aspects of Snoop's leadership is his ability to remain calm under pressure. When Hawk's threats escalate and the situation becomes increasingly volatile, Snoop does not react with panic or anger. Instead, he remains composed, taking the time to assess the situation and make thoughtful decisions. This level-headedness is not only a reflection of his experience and wisdom, but it also serves as a stabilizing influence on those around him. In a moment of crisis, when fear and uncertainty could easily overwhelm others, Snoop's calmness provides a sense of security and confidence. His followers trust that he will lead them through the storm, and this trust becomes a self-reinforcing cycle that strengthens his leadership even further. Snoop's leadership is also defined by his ability to unite people. While Hawk attempts to build power through division and intimidation, Snoop brings people together through a shared sense of purpose and mutual respect. It is this ability to foster unity that makes Snoop such an effective leader, as he understands that collective strength is far more powerful than the sum of individual parts. By encouraging collaboration, dialogue, and mutual support, Snoop creates a community that is greater than the sum of its members. This unity is crucial when it comes to standing up to Hawk's gang, as it gives Snoop the collective power he needs to overcome the threat they pose. In contrast to Hawk's divisive leadership, Snoop's leadership style is one that seeks to elevate others, not control them. He empowers his followers to take ownership of their actions and make decisions that benefit the community as a whole. Snoop does not view himself as an authoritarian figure, but rather as a facilitator of growth and progress. He understands that by helping others realize their potential and giving them the freedom to make their own choices, he fosters an environment where people are motivated by a sense of purpose, not fear. This empowerment creates a ripple effect throughout the community, as individuals feel a deeper sense of connection to each other and to the shared goals they are working toward. Snoop's ability to inspire loyalty is also rooted in his commitment to fairness and justice. He does not use his power for personal gain, and he treats everyone with respect, regardless of their status or background. This commitment to justice is what sets Snoop apart from Hawk, who uses fear and violence to maintain control. Snoop's followers know that he will always act in the best interest of the community, and this trust is what makes them willing to stand by him, even in the face of danger. By embodying principles of fairness, integrity, and accountability, Snoop creates a leadership style that is grounded in moral values and guided by a sense of responsibility. At the heart of Snoop's leadership is his ability to make tough decisions when necessary, but always with the well-being of his community in mind. Snoop's decisions are never driven by ego or personal ambition, but by a deep sense of duty and a desire to protect those who depend on him. This selflessness is the foundation of his leadership, and it is what earns him the respect and loyalty of those around him. Snoop's ability to put the needs of others before his own is a rare quality, and it is one that sets him apart as a true leader, not just a figurehead. As the confrontation with Hawk nears its climax, Snoop's leadership qualities become even more apparent. He does not let the escalating violence or the threats of his adversary cause him to lose sight of what is truly important. While Hawk may be consumed by his desire for power, Snoop remains focused on the bigger picture, the protection of his community and the preservation of the values he holds dear. This clarity of vision allows Snoop to make decisions that not only ensure his own safety but also the safety and well-being of those around him. In the end, Snoop's leadership proves to be the decisive factor in his victory over Hawk. While Hawk may have the physical strength and the numbers on his side, Snoop's leadership is built on a foundation of trust, respect, and unity. His ability to remain calm under pressure, to inspire loyalty, and to lead by example creates a strong, cohesive force that cannot be easily broken. Snoop's leadership is a powerful reminder that true strength lies not in domination or fear, but in the ability to empower others, to inspire them to act with purpose, and to lead with integrity. In the face of adversity, it is Snoop's leadership that ultimately prevails, proving that the most effective leaders are those who serve others, rather than seeking to control them. As Hawk's criminal empire collapses under the pressure of law enforcement and the unity of the community, his once feared reign comes to an abrupt end. Officer Thompson, representing the law, steps in, ensuring Hawk faces legal consequences for his violent actions. The police dismantle his gang, and Hawk realizes that his reliance on fear and violence cannot protect him from justice. In contrast, Snoop stands victorious not through sheer power, but through his unwavering principles of unity, justice, and respect. The community he has helped build supports him, proving that true leadership comes from empowering others, not from intimidation. Snoop's victory is not one of personal glory, but a restoration of peace and safety for the people he has protected for so long. With Hawk taken into custody, the streets are freed from the grip of fear, and businesses and families can once again thrive in peace. Snoop's legacy is one of hope, trust, and justice, a leader who stood up for what was right and inspired his community to do the same. Hawk, on the other hand, is left to face the consequences of his actions, learning too late that power built on fear is ultimately unsustainable. In the end, Snoop's journey shows that true strength lies not in domination, but in standing for what is right, fostering unity, and leading with integrity. His victory represents the triumph of justice over tyranny, leaving a lasting mark on the community he fought to protect.